and welcome to the Latina Leaders Podcast, where we empower, celebrate, and uplift Latinas. Guests on the show are Hispanic women making an impact in the community and redefining leadership. I'm your host, Jennifer Cortez. I'm a proud Latina, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm the founder of Latina Leaders. Today's guest is a remarkable young woman coming from Mexico that has rebuilt her life in Canada. And in such a short period of time, she has become the face and ambassador of higher education and works as a social media assistant for her college's student union. It's my pleasure to welcome Maja Sosa.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Jennifer. Thank you so much for this introduction.
Thank you for coming and being a guest on today's show. Please tell us a little bit about what you do, because you wear many hats. You were telling me, and I would love for the audience to know what you do.
Well, I'm a really creative and crazy person and passionate about fashion and entrepreneurship and all these kind of topics. Yo estudié emprendimiento como primera carrera.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did a fashion, like visual merchandising diploma here in Canada.
Moda.
Moda.
Me encanta moda.
A mí también me encanta y me he dado cuenta que tenemos eso en común.
Sí.
And honestly, I feel like these projects are really empowered for women. So I'm having this like a line that I want to pursue on a fashion career, but at the same time have it on a marketing side of it. So yeah, basically I like to develop projects related on those kind of topics.
That is amazing. So yeah, we do have that in common because I've worked in fashion myself. I teach fashion as well at a college. And yeah, we do have that in common. So you currently are working as a social media specialist for a college student union, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so how is that experience coming new to Canada and just becoming a face that students recognize wherever you go?
Yeah, it's wonderful. I'm really grateful to have the chance to be working there and to have to be able to develop my personality in another language. I feel like it's something that a lot of students struggle right now, and something that is magic, like this moment that we can be back and forward to Spanish and English, porque sé que es complicado para muchos estudiantes como tener las dos personalidades, inclusive para mí, even for me nowadays, sometimes I need to be more wise on the way that I'm behaving into different languages. But so far, so good. Like being exposure to go and interview people and to meet many different students around the 3 campuses. And I believe me, I've been learning many things from the student community, and I feel like that's helping me to build who am I right now.
Would you say that it has helped you with confidence?
100%.
Your role? Yes, confidence. Yeah. Do you want to talk about coming here to a new language as well and expressing yourself? And how did you feel when you had to transition into, basically your role is very predominantly speaking.
Yes.
So how did you feel doing that for such a large institution?
Well, when I started, I remember I was really nervous because I've been talking to a camera in Spanish, but it was the first time that I was doing it in English. And I was really scared about my accent. I was really scared about sometimes and you're gonna hear me get confused with past, present, and future. And those are things that happen eventually when your first language is not English.
Right.
But thankfully, my managers and my team has been super helpful to explain to me how to do it and how to feel more confident for this. And as well, it's been several months that I've been trying to train myself to have this skill on myself. So yeah, it's just practice, and if someone is there willing to do content, go for it. Everyone has their ups and downs, and I feel like the main thing that you should be doing is go and do it. Just don't be scared. Yeah.
Thank you for that advice. Speaking of that advice, for young women like yourself, what advice would you give them to women that feel the same way as you, que tienen el acento and they're kind of nervous about speaking in English and hesitant to speak in English because maybe their accent is really thick? So what would you say to those students? What helped you overcome that?
First, talking on a personal side, embrace your accent. You need to be comfortable that you have an accent and it's normal. And thankfully, we live in a country that it's multicultural, so you can find many beautiful accents around the whole area. And the second, if you want to be more like able to, like, people can understand when you're talking, maybe like go and ask for your friends that are like native speaking English, or like ask, like try to find something in YouTube or Google how to pronounce certain words, and you can start practicing on yourself. And as well, I'm gonna recommend everyone to have a teleprompter, and the teleprompter, you're gonna have it in any like edition app, and you can just read whatever you want to say. And you definitely, if you want to start doing content, that's a really good hack to start practicing how to speak to a camera.
That is really, really good advice. For me, speaking Spanish, this is a conversation we could have. My first language is English because I was born in Canada, right? My parents are from Ecuador. So cuando hablo español, tengo un acento. Tengo un acento canadiense. Pero estoy practicando mi español. And it's funny that we had the conversation the other day that you said that you feel more comfortable speaking, was it in English? With me. Yes. With me. So you're practicing English with me. It's funny. 100%. When I really should be, hablando en español un poco más, pero estoy practicando, ¿no?
Yeah,
¿no? Estamos practicando las dos, ayudando las dos.
It's a learning process.
It is a learning process. Yeah. But that's amazing, Maja. I really do admire at such a young age doing what you do, because when I was your age, when I think back to your age, I don't think I had the confidence to be on camera at all. So that is fantastic. And another thing is you coming to another country, which a lot of immigrants do. That to me is very courageous. When you come to another country, you don't have family or friends here, right? And you start fresh. You go to college or university, and it's like you're everything's new.
Yeah.
So was there any customs here? Like, for example, were there any things here that were extremely different from Mexico when you first started here?
I will say, I'm an only child, so I really have like my friendships, like it's something really important for me. And honestly, Canadians are super polite, the most polite people I will say, but they're like, it's really hard when you're gonna break the boundary to hug people and to, like, Latins were so touchy people.
Yes.
So that's something I was like missing at like a lot. And thankfully now I have amazing Canadian friends that are super comfortable when I'm just going hug them and spend time with them. And it's so funny because they're learning that from our Latin cultural side, and I'm learning the other side from a Canadian. So it's really meaningful for me. And that was something that I missed at the beginning. Another thing, especially the language, I remember when I was like learning, I knew English since I'm a kid, but one thing is like learn the basic stuff, and the other thing is think in English for like a long time in the week. So definitely I started having like the first 6 months, I remember I have like a headache because I need to think in English. It's not like you're thinking in Spanish and then you translate it. You're never gonna learn on that way. Yeah. So you need to have the mindset completely changed on English. And that was another hard thing, I will say. And of course, the things like when you miss your family is something that everyone is gonna have it. Latin cultures, we are really attached to the family. And now that you guys know that I'm an only child, just imagine how hard it is to miss your parents and your grandparents and everything. Sometimes you're with social media, you see that everyone is continue doing their lives, but you're not then. So you need to start figuring out who is going to be your new family here, your new group of friends, your new tribe to thrive,
Thank you for that. And one thing I do want to ask, because you are an immigrant and you're new to Canada, everything that's happening with the immigration right now, how does that make you feel? Maybe you can talk about that's a challenge in your life, and because I know that other people are going through the same thing. It'll be great to hear your perspective on how you're handling it and how you're staying strong, because to me, you're doing really great, fantastic things here. And I appreciate that, seeing a younger Latina like you really representing or being a leader for Latinas, coming from another country, which we need more of that. So how are you handling this whole situation of instability here in Canada?
It's funny, I will say, because you've been, many people in this situation, you've been raised like when you're a child and when you're in your teens in one country, and now that I'm having my adulthood life, I'm starting having these responsibilities in another country. So the other day I was talking with a friend about this, and I was like, if I go back home, I need to relearn everything what I've been learning in Canada, because I'm growing up here now. Like, I'm having a new life here, and everything, like how to handle a house, how to pay rent, how to do your taxes and everything. I'm going to be completely honest, I didn't have enough time to learn that back home. So now it's having this, I will say, even like a identity, like a crisis, because you're like, you don't belong to one place and you don't belong to the other one. Forever you're gonna have your roots, but you need to adapt to any place that you wanna start building a life, right? I'm so grateful for these years. I'm running my third year living in Canada, and Canada has been amazing with me. Canada, Canadians, the culture, like everything has been great so far. And it doesn't matter what's going to be the last resolution for my process. Either if I stay here, I want to do my best for this country, and if I go back home, I just want to take the best of that country with me forever. And that it's a mindset that I think a lot of international people who is coming to Canada should have, because of course with these like new rules and everything, it's a flip coin. We are trying to do our best to stay here and to be to adapt ourselves to Canada. But like, if you're going to another country after here, or you're gonna be alive in another place, just remember all the things that you're learning here, I will say.
I mean, yes, no, and that's really great advice. And you're right. Basically, you're learning the Canadian way of everything. You're still very young, and if you go back to Mexico, whether you want to, you have to relearn, right? Because basically, this is a chapter in your life that you're learning here. And I'm glad you're here, because we would have never met if you were not here. So thank you for sharing that. You mentioned belonging while you were talking about your experience here in Canada, and how you almost feel like you don't belong in either Canada or Mexico, which is really surprising for me to hear, because I feel like you really are making your place here. I really feel that you're setting your roots on your own, which is very courageous. So I almost feel like telling you shouldn't feel that way, but I understand exactly what you mean, because it's like you're in between. It's not really, you must feel like this is not really your place, but when you go back home, it's almost like you have to relearn everything, right? Is that what you?
Yeah. Of course I have my like love for Mexico. Mexico is always going to be a huge part of myself, but it's like, I will say, it's the rules, the rules that any person in any country should follow. Like, sometimes I talk this with my friends, and I have friends back home who are even, and I think that's really a smart thing if you're living in a country that you've been raised, like they're still living with their families with home, and that we're the same age, and we don't have like the same, like they don't have the same things about paying a rent, or figure out like going to the supermarket without a car, or something, some small things that we are not in the same page, which is fine. It's different. It's just like, if I go home, I need to change all that mindset again, and it's been on that different zone that I'm here. So at the same time, I will consider that, try to look for the positive aspect of the place that you are in. And honestly, here is like I always says, the most that you feel uncomfortable is the better performance you're gonna achieve.
Thank you. That's really great. One thing I want to ask is about Mexico. First of all, I love Mexico, but I've only been to certain areas, and that's more the touristic areas. I love it. That's my place to go relax. It's my parents' favorite place to go. We love to go to Mexico. Can you give advice to people like Canadians or whoever wants to travel to Mexico on maybe a few cosas, culturas? That is something that is maybe dear to you or traditional that you want to share about being Mexican?
I love this question, especially in this time of the life that we're being through. México es mágico. México es maravilloso. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful culture. It's a wonderful people. I know many people here goes to the like coast and beach area, and I know you might be watching this and you say like Cancun. I know you're saying this.
I love Cancun.
Yes, everyone loves Cancun. I love Cancun. Cancun is such a wonderful place. But if you guys have the chance to go to Mexico City or go to another like a small cities, I'm coming from a city which name is Querétaro, and Querétaro was like a historical place back in the day when we got like our independence and our many different like historical things happen there. And it's beautiful as well. I really love Querétaro. I've been born and raised there, and I feel like Mexico in general have like different, even different mini subdivisions of culture that it's worth it to find out. As well, like I believe that Mexican people is really hardworking, and I'm really happy that a lot of people say the same about Mexico and our culture. So yeah, really proud for Mexico.
You know, one thing that I heard certain Mexican people say that kind of caught me off guard. I was like, okay, so this, because it's a whole dialect thing.
Yeah.
For example, my parents come from Ecuador, right? Or there's Colombians or Argentinians, or there's Central America. There's so many different parts that speak Spanish, but we don't all speak the same, right? We
Yeah.
all have our different dialects. So, what caught me off guard is a friend, he used to say, que padre.
Yes.
Que padre. And I'm like, mi padre qué? Mi padre qué? And I'm like, what? I was so confused. Because I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
And I was so confused. Que padre. I'm like, what are you saying to me? Right? And so, yeah, can you explain
what is que padre?
Que padre?
Yeah, que padre, it's like, that's so cool in English.
That's so cool.
That's so cool. And in fact, like when I have many Colombian friends. So my Colombian friends are, at the beginning when I met them, they're like, que padre. They say another word. They say like que chimba, or for example, chévere. Or there's people in Spain that they speak Spanish and they say que guay, que guay. They say que guay. So it's completely different, but in Mexico we say que padre.
Que padre.
We have another one. Oh, this is like when people here say like, hey bro, or hey girly. The other day a friend was saying like, I would like to have like a gender neutral word. We have in Mexico gender neutral, and we call each other way. Like way, hey way, how's it going? Like those kind of things. We have another one. The other day I told you, mi casa es tu casa.
Sí.
This is really famous in Mexico. We say mi casa es tu casa. It's like my house is your house. And it's like in the fact that you literally, it's not like just like a reunion or you can just come to visit. Like if you need my house, you will able to be and stay at my place. It's like something that Mexicans like to invite people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, thank you for that, because she was generous enough to say that to me, mi casa su casa, which is so, like, as Latinos, we are very like that. We are very welcoming and affectionate. And it's funny that you mentioned here in Canada, you dealt with very cold people and getting used to how cold, not everyone's cold, but like us, I'm used to that too. Growing up with parents that are, you know, Hispanic, and my abuelitos, and just, you know, it's just, we grew up that way, always hugging or kissing on the cheek to say hi to one another. And so even me, sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I can't do that with everyone. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot, because some people are looking at me like, what's happening? I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot, right? But even me, I was born here, and I have that from my roots, right? From what I learned growing up. Another thing that's in my roots is dancing, bailando. I love Latin music.
Really good music.
Really, we have really good, don't you agree? Really good Latin music. It brings happiness to a lot of people. It's especially salsa. I think salsa has that feeling of happiness, and just,
100%.
You know, brings communities together. So here we are, proud Latinas, and we're definitely going to talk about the things that we're proud of. So this is one of the things, is just our culture. I feel like it's a benefit, being friendly and being welcoming and being open and being able to click, because we did. We didn't know each other like how many weeks ago, and we just clicked our first conversation. Right. And it's just it's almost like a mutual understanding. Right. So that's how we are, right? And so I feel it's amazing. I really feel that's amazing. And we are also different, way different in age, right?
No.
So, well, I'm just saying we're different in age, but we still really connect. So that's one thing that I really love about our culture, right? In general, even though you're from Mexico or, my family's from Ecuador, it doesn't matter. We still have that love.
Yeah, we have
that
this
warmth.
boundary. There's no boundary that we can not like be together, and we can. I honestly feel so comfortable when I'm talking to you. It's like, a relief for me.
Good. I'm glad. No, I'm so glad. I do my best to, like, I'm just naturally like that, trying to welcome people when they're new, and I always want them to feel welcome. So I'm glad you feel that way with me. Is there anything that is like an aspiration of yours that you would love to do? You don't have to get too personal if you don't want to, but is there any aspiration or goal that you would love to do in the next couple of years? I would say 3 to 5 years. That you'd like to share?
Okay. If I'm going to talk about the personal side, I would love to find stability. That's my next goal, and I'm working so hard to find the stability I used to have before, like moving from another country. I'm still figuring it out, and I'm still learning and growing in that side of my life. If I will say in a professional way, continue working in something that I really enjoy, like I'm working right now. Maybe in the future, the only change I will say is instead of working for another company, I would love to have my own company. That's something that I'm really, really passionate about. I really like to work hard to get my own, like a marketing agency, and have a lot of like fashion perks on it. So it's my plan for the next 5 years.
Oh yeah, that's in my mind too. So we're thinking the same.
Yes.
We're thinking in the same direction, but that's amazing. Like those are fantastic goals. And I guess one last question I should say, is there any last words you'd like to say, advice you'd like to say to maybe women your age, Latinas?
Yes. To all the women of my age, Latinas in general, or any Latina who is coming to this country, don't feel afraid. I think sometimes we have this misconception about like they're gonna tell us like, oh, because we're like Latinas, we need to behave on this way, or we need to do this way, or they already have like a mindset about Latinas, and we need to be proud of who we are. We need to break stereotypes, and we need to really work hard for whatever our dreams we have. And especially right now it's March, and we just passed the March 8th for International Women's Day. I think our superpower is that we are strong women around there. And if you're not Latina and you're watching this, believe me, Latinas are super welcoming to, and like all the people, to everyone. So if you want to, like, this podcast helps you to have a different perspective of mindset, go for it. Just go for your dreams and achieve any plans you want to make in your life.
Muchas gracias, Maja. That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Muchas gracias. Gracias. Thanks everyone for watching this episode. I'm so happy to be here. And if you wanna follow me, I'm like at Maja Isar on Instagram, and my LinkedIn is Maja Sosa. I'm available for everyone, both channels.
Absolutely. We're available for collaborations. My Instagram is latina.leaders, and also Jennifer Cortez 3_. So find us there.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. So if you like this kind of content, please follow us. So we will have more shows to come soon. Ciao.
Bye. Like.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.